Hello storytellers and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Lauren. I'm an actress, teacher and all-round storyteller, sharing my adventures in parks, pages and pixels. Today's all about the parks, specifically the Disney parks. So I've been organising a trip to Disneyland Paris for myself, my husband, my best friend Abby, her husband Jack and their child who is about 1 year old. And yeah, this trip means a lot to us. Not just exciting, but there's just so many layers to it. It's my best friend's son's first holiday abroad and his first Disney trip. It's also been 10 years since me and Abby went to Disneyland together when we were at university, which doesn't feel like it was 10 years ago, but also very much does. So this feels like quite a big trip. I'm very excited. It's all we can talk about. I feel really sorry for our husbands because it's literally, I think, all we talk about. But I thought I'd share with you how I went ahead and booked it. I'm no longer an annual pass holder, so I don't have that as an option. But there was ways I went about trying to make this affordable for a group of 5. So first and foremost, we had to organise time off work. For me and Abby, that's a little bit easier. We are teachers, so we just had to find how our October half terms align. And then once we did that, we picked some dates. Our husbands then had to go off and book time off work. Both were able to do it. And so we've got some time off over Halloween to go to Disney, which is so exciting. Yeah, so that was step 1. That's the slightly easier part. Step 2 was figuring out where we're going to stay. So obviously we would love to stay on site, but that comes with a premium cost, and it's a cost that none of us can afford at the moment. They've got a child, you know, he's only 1, he's still young, he costs a lot of money to look after with nappies and formula and blah blah blah. And me and Daniel are saving for our honeymoon next year, so very different reasons we needed to keep this trip relatively within budget. I looked at like the partnership hotels, so you've got the B&B hotel, you've got like Le Grand Magique, Dream Castle, all those on that shit. Never Campanile. No. We don't like Campanile. So I looked into it and they were all coming back relatively expensive for the 2 rooms, or even for like a bigger room where we all shared it together. And so I had a little look on Airbnb, and honestly, this is now my saving grace for trips to Disney. It does mean you're further out than you'd expect with like the other hotels. You know, there's a shuttle bus that runs between the Grand Magique, Dream Castle and all that jazz that you can get, although that shuttle bus is a menace, just saying. But we've also stayed at the Radisson, which is the opposite side, and that shuttle bus is really lovely. So it does come with the added free shuttle between the 2 places, so you've kind of got guaranteed transport. So that's one of the positives why you might pay a little bit extra and stay at one of those hotels. But we've opted for an Airbnb. I did this for my hen do and it worked really well, and I've got a feeling the flat that we've booked on Airbnb isn't too far from where I stayed for my hen do in a little apartment we had. So I have booked an Airbnb for us. It has cost £461.47. So that's about £115 per adult. Obviously we're not including the child as a fee in this because like I'm not that moody. So for the 4 adults it's £115 each, which comparatively is a lot cheaper, particularly as we'd be there for 3 nights. So I thought that was actually quite a decent price. According to the description, it says 5 minutes to Disneyland. Now, when we looked up where we think, like on the map, on our map, etc., I got my husband to do this check. It doesn't look like it's actually 5 minutes. As always with Airbnbs, you wanna add a few minutes on. They're little liars. I think if you were to get the bus, the actual journey on the bus is 5 minutes. But that doesn't include waiting for the bus, finding the bus stop, make sure you get the right one. So we do have the option of a bus. I have already said to them, obviously they're going to have the buggy for their child, but if it seems like it's worth it, I will look into Ubers for us. Yes, that becomes a bit more expensive. Then you're looking at like €15 each way is kind of the average I'm going to give. But if it means that all 5 of us plus the buggy can get there quicker, more efficiently, and it's right from our doorstep right to the park, sometimes I will be willing to do that. Particularly on the way home of an evening, I think I'm going to be leaning towards booking those Ubers. Again, there will be a surcharge because we're going later in the evening and it's peak times, but we'll see. That's the only part to do with the Airbnb that is like a little bit up in the air. We had a little look to see how long it would take to walk, and we reckon it would probably only be about 25 minutes. But obviously with the buggy, depending on the weather, there's some variables in that could change our plans. So we've got options, but it does mean we get to stay in a cheaper accommodation. And even if you add on an Uber there and back for the 2 days we're going to Disneyland Paris, it's still cheaper than staying in a hotel room each at like a partnership hotel or the Radisson or on site. Like a lot cheaper than staying on site. So with that, it meant we had to purchase our park tickets because we were not going to be getting it as part of a hotel package or a pre-planned holiday, what's it called, like a travel, you know what I'm trying to say, travel itinerary. Me and Abby have travelled before. Our last trip was with Magic Breaks, and that was all organised through our university. So honestly, we just got on the coach, slept, got off the coach, got into our hotel, went to the parks. Did that, got back to the hotel, slept, got back on the coach, come home again. So although we had a great experience, that's not what I'm talking about here. The actual process of using Magic Breaks I've never done, but I do know that is a company that does like whole package deals for Disney that are a little bit cheaper than going direct with Disney. I still heard good things about them being relatively reputable and legitimate, but I personally haven't used them. I just do it myself. In terms of booking our tickets, I went for attraction tickets. I've used them before. I've got, when I had my annual pass, they no longer did like guest tickets for like the last few months I had it. So I got Daniel's tickets through there before. I got mine and Tahira's tickets through there for my hen do. And so I did the same again with my husband. Abby and Jack have booked theirs separately. I believe they've also gone for attraction tickets. But yeah, so in terms of that, it cost us £183 each. That is for 2 days, 2 parks. So that gives you the most flexibility. Ours are dated tickets, so we have to go on those dates. If you wanted to get it as undated tickets so you can use them when you choose and you have to register it on the app, they cost a bit more money. We know exactly what days we're going. It's not going to change. That is set in stone. Touch wood. So, yeah, so we've got ours all booked in together. I paid for mine and Dan's tickets so far. He is going to pay me back post-trip. He's doing a bunch of overtime. Like, he's meant to be off right now while I'm filming. He's meant to be in this video. But he's at work doing overtime to try and pay off a bit of this. But in terms of, like, the cost, yeah, okay, that is kind of pricey. When you think about it, that is, what, 183 divided by 2 would be just under £100, like £90 each day. It's not awful. I've paid obviously a lot less for some of the theme parks in the UK. I think Thorpe Park we paid like £50 each, something like that. Chessington's even less. So it does obviously come with the Disney Premium. I don't know if they are selling tickets on the door anymore. I have seen people queuing up to collect tickets. I don't know if they sell them because COVID kind of changed all of that. I think they do. But if you are to buy tickets on the day or at the park, it's much more expensive. Much more expensive. I think a day ticket alone is like €120, which when you convert isn't much more, but it's still more. So if you're going to save money, attraction tickets are a great way to do it. We also, because we booked attraction tickets, have been entitled to a free photo book. Me and Dan still want to claim from our trip back in April 2023. I've still wanted to claim from my hen do last year, and then we'll have this one. Obviously, I think the first 2 are probably going to have expired, but they do offer that as part of a deal. If you're interested in a photo book that gets delivered to your door with all the photos you've taken throughout the holiday, they do offer that as like an additional gift with the tickets. I have never used it. I probably will this trip, but use like a mixture of trip photos to stick in there and see if they let it. Yeah. In terms of the tickets for attraction tickets, I had them come through in an email, so I could print them as paper copies or I could scan them through my email. But they also come with a code on them that you can connect to the Disneyland Paris app. I have already done that. So that means that when we go to the parks, I don't have to rely on losing paper. I just have to keep my phone charged because they're on the app. So I can scan both me and Dan through at the gates on the app. He also has got an emailed copy of them on his phone. So we have them on multiple phones. That is my top tip. If you are traveling with someone, swap and share your tickets. So that if for whatever reason someone's device stops working, or you lose your paper copies, or it rains and they get ruined, you have a backup. I am probably also going to send them to Abby on the day, just because I'm that cautious about making sure we can get in and out the parks. We are planning to do the main parks at Disneyland Paris on our first day. That is my routine. That is where we start. It is the classic park. The second day we're in the parks is when we will do Walt Disney Studios, soon to be known as Disney's World of Adventure. Disney's Adventure World? Something like that. I don't like the new name, but... Travel. We are going to drive there. Daniel loves driving, luckily, and he did offer to drive us. We have a 7-seater car, so we can flatten the 2 seats at the back, put all the luggage, because that becomes our boot, including a travel cot and a buggy. And then obviously you have Dan driving. Abby's husband, Jack, is going to sit in the front with him because I fall asleep, so I'm a rubbish passenger princess to put there for a long journey. And then me, Abby, and her child are going to be in the back, is the plan. We're going to have to wait and see how this all fits in together. We'll see. But Dan's adamant he thinks everything will fit. The one thing I'm worried about is the buggy. It does fold down quite flat, but I feel like it's going to be a case that we have to put that in with me, Abby, and the baby. But yeah, we're going to drive, which means we're going to get the Eurotunnel, Le Shuttle, as it's actually called. That was £183. So the exact same cost as our park tickets, which is really handy when it comes to planning this. I didn't do this on purpose, but they are the exact same price. So yeah, if you are looking at booking this kind of stuff and you're going with a friend or a partner, maybe get one of you to book the tickets, one of you books travel, and then together you split the cost of the hotel and it will come out relatively even. I have booked all of this on my card, but we have done it over the course of probably 9 months. We've been planning this almost a year. So the first thing we booked was the Airbnb way back, and I put a deposit down. Then I booked our tickets because I knew they were going to be quite expensive. And then it was only last week as of filming, so beginning of September, that we booked the Eurotunnel. The reason we did it that way round is because we kind of knew there would always be space on a Eurotunnel. There just might be less times available, and we're not that fussed about what time we do and don't leave. Our timings are actually really handy, so the day we travel we don't have to get up very early because we can't check into our Airbnb until 4 o'clock. So there's no point getting there early. I think current timings we're meant to get there at 4:30, so it's a 30 minutes past that. And like I said, we're just going to drop everything and go to the Disney Village and get some food and maybe have a little look around and come back and have an early night. And on the way back, we've booked it so that if we leave to check out at 11, we get 3.5 hours plus an extra hour to wait, because the borders at Calais are not always they're not always the most organised, is the word I'm going to go with. There's been a few times we've been waiting in a long queue and we've ended up having to get the Eurotunnel after the one we actually were signed up to get on because the queues back up so badly. So Dan did the mathematics around that, and there's definitely enough time. I think the plan is we're going to leave at 10:30, but our shuttle isn't until 4:30. So we've got plenty of time to stop, also queue, etc. Which means we are going Folkestone to Calais, and then Calais to Disneyland Paris, which the train station tube station is called Marny-le-Chessy. So that's sort of the area we're heading towards. Obviously, we do now have to consider petrol. But even if you took in the cost of the Eurotunnel and the petrol, that is still cheaper between 4 people than it would be booking a flight for 4 people and a child. It also means we have a bit more freedom with our luggage. A lot of particularly short flights don't want you to take big luggage, so it costs quite a bit to have additional luggage. So there was like increasing prices. So that's why we chose to drive. That, and Daniel likes to drive. He's done the trip driving to Paris once now? Once? Why does it feel like it's been twice? No, he's done it once. Yeah, which was when we broke down. Oh well. He's gonna sort out some additional like travel insurance. That's kind of the only thing we've got left to do, is look at health and travel insurance for when we go. And I'll be honest, that doesn't cost a lot. I mean, it will cost a little bit more for me because I've got some medical conditions at the moment, but it won't cost too much. In terms of on the trip, because of medical stuff that's going on, which I've posted a video about, which I will link above and below, there are quite a lot of rides I can't go on. So I'm not allowed to go on any of the big roller coasters. I'm mostly sad about Tower of Terror. It's not a roller coaster, it's a drop ride, but I've been told that's probably a no. And Big Thunder. I'm not so worried about things like Space Mountain or Flight Force, but those two I am really sad I won't be able to get to go on, but I have done them so many times before. So for me, it's going to be a trip of lots of little rides, little character meets. There's going to be a real priority for like parades and shows. So the focus for this trip is going to be a little bit different from my previous ones, where it would be going on the rides. I'm looking forward to having a slower paced trip. But also it kind of helps out because it means that there's always someone to hold the baby while they go on the rides. So me and my honorary nephew are going to spend a lot of time together on this trip. Now I can put my little diary down with my notes in, because this part is the best bit. We are Disneybounding. Now, where do we begin? So the day that we're in Disneyland Paris Park, we're going to do Nightmare Before Christmas. We want to do something Halloween-y. Nightmare Before Christmas is one of my favourite films of all time. So we've all been assigned characters. Abby's Sally, her husband Jack is playing Jack. My husband's going as the Wolfman. I'm going as Oogie Boogie. And I believe she's going to do her child as like the pumpkin head that will go with the Pumpkin King, because yeah. We did debate doing him as Zero, but every option we're kind of coming up with is just going to get dirty, and I don't think it's going to look great. And he's one. There's certain things he will and won't wear. He doesn't like anything on his head. I've seen him take his hat and sunglasses off repeated times throughout the summer. So we want to keep it relatively simple for him. So she said she's going to do some kind of pumpkin outfit. Oogie Boogie, at the moment, this is kind of what I've come up with. I do have a more oatmeal-y like roll neck that I actually wore one Christmas when we went, and I thought that would work, but when I held it up against my new ears, it was too pale. So I was like, maybe I need to get something to match like the burlappy green colour on my new ears. But I couldn't find anything. So I found this kind of like tea-coloured roll neck that's super stretchy on Amazon. I already own this green check shirt. I'm going to wear it with a pair of like green cargo legging trouser things, so it's like super comfortable. Again, because of my medical condition, I can't wear anything tight around my middle. So there's a lot of leggings and stretchy materials that can be worn. But this shirt is floaty, so it covers up a bit of my body that I'm a little bit conscious of at the moment because of everything. And my ears, which are going to come up in a different video. I've done a whole video on the Etsy seller that I've bought these ears from. But they look like that. So this is kind of what I've come up with so far. I think the shirt is too dark for the bow. So I think I need to find a checkered shirt that's closer to this sort of limey green. But I'm not mad at like the tea colour with this. I feel like that kind of blends well. I just think this shirt might be too dark. I need to go for like a yellowier green. So I'm on the hunt for another kind of check shirt vibe, or if I can get a roll neck that is like this kind of limey green burlap colour, like bogey green, then we're on board. But at the moment, this is what I've come up with. It needs work. Like, this is the one outfit I know needs work. My second day, when we're in the Walt Disney Studios, we're doing Marvel characters, but specifically Guardians of the Galaxy. Daniel is going as Thor from when Thor was in Guardians. We've got him a top that's blue that says like God of Asgard, and it's got like Thor's hammer here, Mjolnir, I think that's what it's called. I've got my little necklace that's like the Guardians of the Galaxy, what's it called, Star-Lord's like cassette tapes, and it's got a little hammer on it, so he's got that to wear with it. And I got him a big red hoodie to look like Thor's cape. So we're proper bounding for him. His is sorted. His was easy. He's got the long hair to suit it. Abby is going as Gamora. Yes, she's green. I know that much. And she's bought like a bright green top to wear for that. Jack is going as Star-Lord. We've got their child going as Baby Groot. I'm going to be helping Abby make the costume for that. We're going to get like a kind of creamy brown tracksuit. I'm going to get some fabric paint in green, and we're going to cut some leaf shapes out of sponges and just sponge print some leaves on it. We make do with what we've got. And I might even write like down the sleeve or something like I am Groot or yeah. So we're mixing it up. For me, I'm going as a Rocket Raccoon. I've got blue stretchy cargo leggings that I bought from Halara. I already have, I think I've got it over here as well. So this wasn't the one I was thinking of, but I do have bright orange roll neck. So the bright orange roll neck with the blue cargo trousers. The wolf ears I've ordered for Dan, which haven't arrived yet, that he's wearing for Wolfman the day before. I'm then going to wear as Rocket. So the blue trousers, the orange top, the ears. I've got a little charm of Rocket that I'm putting on a necklace, so I can have a little nod to him here. I did debate getting some kind of like brown leathery belt to put around the middle to make it a bit more like his jacket, what's it called, like his crossbody belt bag thing. We'll see. A lot of it is like, what can I cope carrying on the day, because I'm not allowed to wear anything tight at the moment. So yeah, that's the current idea. I haven't tried it on all together yet. That is the next step. I'm not going to do that now. I'm tired and I need to edit videos and I want to play Sims. Life. Yeah, so that's the plan. That's what we've come up with so far. Very excited. Can't wait to see our B&B. I can't wait to be in the parks with my friends and to see their son's reaction to everything and just to be in the magic again. I haven't been to Disney since my hen do, which was May last year. So it's been over a year, and we're going from like my favourite season, which is Halloween, where it's not too warm, slightly rainy, it's all spooky. Yeah! Targets for on this trip. I want to meet Jack Skellington with his new head. It's very random, but I do want to meet Jack Skellington with his new head. There is a rumour going around online, and I do not think it's true, but apparently there's going to be an Oogie Boogie meet somewhere in Disneyland. That has never happened before other than at like character events. And even then, I don't think I've ever seen it happen at a character event in Paris, but I think it might have before I used to go. It's more of an American thing. But someone was saying they'd heard or seen something about it, and I remember reading it and being like, that's a rumour. That's a rumour, babe. Yeah, I'm very much shows, characters. Can't wait to take the baby on Pirates and Phantom Manor. I can't wait to buy more merch from Pirates, Phantom Manor and Big Thunder Mountain. It's occurred to me that everything I want is pretty much from Frontierland. I mean, Pirates isn't it? It's Adventureland, but like, you get the idea. Yeah, so it's going to be an exciting trip. Yeah, I don't know when my next Disney trip's going to be after this. We're going to Japan for our honeymoon, which we need to book soon. We've saved up for it now, so we've got money for it. We just need to start booking it. So there will be Disney involved in that, but I don't know the next time I'll be at Paris. So this is quite a special trip. Thank you for watching. I hope some of this might have helped guide you on how you could book your own trip. This is our trip total. Da, 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 per person. Trip total per person. Yeah, so it's been relatively inexpensive because we've paid it off in chunks over the past sort of 9 months. And I suppose because there was no deadlines when stuff had to be paid to an extent, it's made life a lot easier. Other than Airbnb, which was like, you need to pay it by this date, it's all been pretty relaxed. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye everyone.